Next unit we got up on the bench is a Husqvarna 450 X-TORX. Customer said he run this saw, or had this saw tuned about 2 years ago and hadn't never run it since. Said he bought a steel. Overall saw don't look like it's in bad shape. Power bulb seems to be good. It's got fuel in it. I think first thing we'll do is take this ball and chain off, and then we'll try to crank the saw.
PC Magazine reports Webroot aced our hands-on malware test. There is a smarter security choice.
Appears at first glance to be a 325 chain.
And your identities. You wait. Could be a minute too late. Go online. Call now.
The chain appears overall to be in pretty good shape. Look like it's hit a nail or two though. It'll definitely need a good sharpening. Bar's got quite a bit of wear in it. Remember what I told you about them sharp points indicating wear? We can see a little wear on the rail. Well, not by any means severely bad, but it does have some wear. There's an 18-inch bar, 50 thousandths track, 325, 72 dial link count.
For more information, visit
Sprocket has excessive wear on it, extremely excessive wear. This unit desperately needs a sprocket. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to try to crank this unit. It's got gas in it, so we're going to go ahead and try to crank it with the gas that's in it, but we more than likely, since this saw's been sitting for 2 years, we will eventually dump that gas and inspect and clean that tank. I just want to see if we can get it to try to start first. This unit does have a compression release, so it should have quite a bit of power to it.
Enjoy top shows. 1-800-800-3333.
The unit will not maintain a steady run. We've now installed 17 ounces worth of fuel in the unit, so we're going to try it again.
Put your hands down right now. You got it?
The unit will not achieve high speed. Only proper thing to do next is let's pop that cowl off and inspect the fuel line under the cowl. If that appears to be good, we'll inspect the spark plug and we'll go in that carb. As you can see, there's quite a bit of dirt on that field. That's the original plug. That's a factory original Husqvarna plug. Not in terrible shape. Not in great shape, but not in, by no means in terrible shape. So we may reuse that. We may not. As you can see, that air filter is completely dirty. We may have to have a new one of them. We will try to blow it out, but if it don't blow out properly, we will be replacing that. At first glance, from the outside, the fuel lines look fine, but we're going to go ahead and take that carb off so that we can go into it and clean it and inspect it. And we're going to dump that fuel, and we'll check them fuel lines a little more thorough and see what we got.
I'm sorry I didn't turn off the valve. I apologize. It's not much, but I did want to give a bit of a tangible apology, too.
Look, I'm not taking any money, okay? I'm a Christian woman and writing.
He's all cool. He's doing this with the kids. Are you angry with him? What?
Are you 10,000?
There's a lot of dirt down in there. A lot of dirt. We got a Zama carb on this unit. Somebody has been in the carb before. The limiters are gone off of it for the adjustments. So it has been worked on before. So we're going to go in that unit and see what we can come up with and see what we find inside. So I'm going to break this carb down and I'll show you what it looks like. Inside the carb didn't find a whole lot of dirt, but what I did find was this pump diaphragm that works. The carb is extremely stiff. I believe that's going to be the problem. We're going to put another pump diaphragm in it, stick it back together, and let's see what we got. Alright, we put the diaphragm in it, put the carb back on it. We're going to fire it up and see if it'll run. That ain't good. Now it's starving for fuel. Back up and check again. Alright, we got a couple problems. We developed a hole in our primer bulb. And I can't really show you while it's in the tank, but the supply hose coming in is not in as good a shape as we had thought it was. It is actually so weak that it's laying over and kinking, and that's also causing a problem. So we're going to have to put a hose in this tank too. I don't know how well you can see it, but this is what seals in the tank. As you can see, that line is soft. So the weight of that filter allows it to pull over. Now it can't draw fuel. So it's going to have a fuel line also. We got this brand new fuel line. Got this brand new primer bulb we're going to put in here to replace those bad ones. Well, I put the primer bulb in, put the fuel filter on, and went to test pull it. It crunk up, but it went to making a noise. Starter rope hung out. I pulled it apart, and here's the result.
Break through your allergies. Try Flonase Mist instead of allergy pills.
We're back at a pause without a rotor. I have to go get a rotor, and we'll put a rotor in it. It's got to have that. Helps it to cut that rope every time. Not sure why that happened, but it did crank after we put the fuel filter and all in it. But we got us a brand new rotor here. We're going to put in there. Before we do, a little bit of sludge and junk in there. I'm going to spray that with some cleaner and clean it out. And I'm going to put a little bit of lithium grease in there. Not a whole lot so it don't hold trash. Just enough to lube it up a little bit. Sometimes I spend more time than I should trying to figure out why something broke. As you see, I done pulled on that 4 or 5 times and hadn't had no problem. But I don't know. Sometimes things don't really have a reason. And me cleaning this has nothing to do with that breaking. I try to make it a habit when I go into one of these. If I see dirt and grime, to go ahead and clean it out a little bit. Put a little bit of lube in there. No particular reason why. That's the way you're supposed to do it. So we're going to spool this up and move forward. Alright, I've now sprayed some cleaner in there and cleaned that out, blowed it out with compressed air. I've put some lithium grease in there, oil, spray oil. We're going to put the rotor back in and restring it. You want to make sure you don't use grease in there. If you use anything that's going to leave that, it's going to collect dirt and you're going to end up with a problem inside of that. So I've been using lithium at my job. Lithium seems to work well, hadn't had any problems. That's my preferred choice. I'm sure if you talk to different mechanics, different ones that have different things they use, but don't use grease. We've installed the new rotor in the unit. Now we'll put it back on the unit. Something I did do that was out of the ordinary, I reused the old starter rope. The reason I did that is this rope was in excellent shape and appears to be a better quality than the rope that I have. So I couldn't see changing it out based on that. Most of the time whenever a rotor like that breaks, it's just age, circumstance, but it's always a good idea to check the area and make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary, which I've done. All the dogs seem to move freely. I've checked these to be sure that they're tight. There's not excessive play in them. So there's no apparent problems here that would have caused the new one to break. So we're going to go ahead now and reinstall that starter cover, and then we're going to test the unit. We've reinstalled the starter cover. We put a primer bulb in this unit. We cleaned the air filter. We had to put a fuel line. We put a new fuel filter. Had to put a new rotor in it. Now we're going to fire the unit up and see if the unit will run. And we're going to look for a couple things. We're going to make sure the unit will throttle up. We're going to make sure the unit will idle. And we're also going to make sure that the unit will oil. So let's go ahead and check that now. We pulled that sprocket off now, just like the others. If you observe right there, you can see the wear in this one, severe wear. We're going to replace it, put a little grease on it, put it back on. We're going to sharpen the chain. All right, we've now installed the new sprocket lube back bearing. We've lubed the sprocket tip, sharpened the chain, everything rolls smoothly. We're going to fire her up and see if she oils like she's supposed to. I did do one more thing that I wasn't going to do. This is the original Husqvarna plug, and when I originally fired it up, after I got it going, it sounded like it had a little bit of a miss in it. So I decided not to take a chance. I hate for this customer to get this saw and it let him down, so I went ahead and put a new plug in it just to be sure. Well, and that unit is complete.